Welcome to the Savvy Radio Show with your host, the Savvy Landlord. Up next is the best deal ever. On Fridays, check out all episodes on SavvyRadioShow.com.
What's going down, Savvy investors? Man, today is Fabulous Friday, coming to the end, the close of 2016. And I haven't popped off a deal in a while. I have, but I just, wanted to be humble. But I think this is an opportunity that will hopefully encourage you. It's a really big deal for me, not necessarily size-wise. Some of you investors out there that are just crushing it, but any deal is a great deal. My mentor has told me it's a base hit. Not all the time that you can get a home run. But I think this is a deal that will encourage you if you are have a few single families and you want to go to the next level, whatever that may be. And that's just another episode. People ask me all the time, would you do apartments or will you do commercial? Should you do single family? I'm going to tell you right now, straight out the gate. And of course, I'm going to be a hypocrite. It's going to change as I grow. Single family is the way to go. It's easier to sell, easier to manage. Just there's so much, just for the lazy investor and all of us, it's single family is the deal. So let me tell you about this. So I'm driving. I just purchased a house in a neighborhood that I've been trying to buy for a long time. It's a little bit not ghetto, upper middle class, roughly around $100,000 houses. And I got a smoking deal from a realtor. I should probably do that podcast. It was a pocket listing. Well, he just listed it and called me. Boom, boom. That's that one. So I bought this house. Everything's great. I'm driving up and down this house, and I keep driving past this giant 3-story office complex with a tiny, tiny little realtor residential sign on the outside. Every time I was with my office manager, we drove by. I was, oh, look at that building. Great. Kept on rolling. Drove by it again because I'm doing some inspections on this property I just bought, lining up my contractors, doing all the normal things that real estate investors do. And I'm driving down a road that I'm normally not driving down all the time. And something inside of you, and this is where I want to get you what you need to be doing. Some call it the Holy Spirit. Some call it a gut feeling. Some call it experience. I don't know. But I have this rule of thumb. I scratch every deal until there's a no. And that's just a rule of thumb, especially if I get prompted of some form or fashion. So I drove by this building for like the 4th time, and I was like, man, I'm going to call that. By the 5th time, the Holy Spirit or something came over me. Turn around, fat boy, and check out. You can call the number. All right. So I stopped a block down the road in this gas station. I turned around, drove back, pulled into the building, got the phone number off of the sign. There was, you've seen this. There's a realtor on the top sign, and there's a realtor on the bottom, usually like a joint listing of sorts, a rookie and a veteran or whatever. So I called the one number, no answer. I'm like, typical realtors, no answer, no. I don't want to get into the realtors. I've already been blasted from last week with the podcast, so let me just keep it rolling on the realtors. I called the other number. It seemed to be the rookie realtor of sorts, and I just wanted to know details on the building. Is it rented? What's the cost? She says it's $675,000. I was like, okay, can you tell me what tenants are in there? No, I can't tell you what tenants are in there. Okay. She's like, I need to know, is it cash flow? It's a 3% cap rate. I'm like, oh, girl, you don't know what you're saying. It's like, she just starts throwing out commercial stuff. Let me tell you something. I don't even know commercial stuff. And I could tell that this gal, not the show me realtor, show enough realtor, told me about it. And I was like, I don't know, just send me the information and I'll check it out. And, you could tell it's a residential realtor, didn't really know what was going on. This is a commercial property, a big property. It's 12,000 square foot, 3 stories. And it was a monster center of a giant office complex. And the cool thing about this property is that it's a mile from every major freeway. So there's I-44, I-235, and then I-35, and this is nestled in the center of that area. And so it's not far. It's a mile north of the office building that I have now that I just operate my business out of. But, you know, again, it was a prompting, and I felt like I needed to follow up with this deal. So, but at the same time, I was working in another big deal that was taking up every single dollar that I have. I was like, man, this ain't going to work. $675, it's out of my league. You know, I don't know. So, you know, I'm just shooting from the hip here. The gal emails me the MLS listing. Of course, it's MLS listing. Doesn't have a pro forma. Doesn't tell me the tenants. I don't know what the water bill is. I don't know what the electricity is. Is it gas? Is it, you know, I'm asking this gal like 100 questions, and she's kind of blowing me off. Like, I got to get with the with the owner, and you got to talk to the owner. I can introduce you to the owner. I'm like, girl, what's really going on? You know, I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And so, no big deal. I call my superstar commercial realtor. I was like, hey, homie, I found this building. I'm interested in it, but I can't get any data on this building. I don't know what it's really worth. I'm interested. I got this co-op space, office space rental thing blowing up. I think it's going to be hot around the country. Entrepreneurs need an address, need a place to collaborate, and I think this is the facility, and I'm excited, so let's make this happen. So he gets all the details, and this commercial realtor, he's off the chain, Big Daddy. I'm going to give a shout out to him, Dustin Keller Williams commercial. The cool thing about this cat, he doesn't know nothing about residential. So he's not tainted by the MLS or the confusion. He doesn't even know how the MLS works, which I think is just gnarly. I'm like, dude, he's on MLS. I don't have access to the MLS. He doesn't even have access to an MLS. But man, this is my homie, man. He just came out and just home run me. So he got all the data. He found out there's a sprinkler system. Found out that here's the backstory. Found out that an oil guy owns it. He's owned it for 16 years. He bought the building. The building is appraised 10 years ago. My realtor, Gangster Dustin, got the appraisal, got all the drama, everything we need to know about the property, locked it up in a few days. He's like, the appraisal is that they have, it's 10 years old. It's $750,000. I think the building's probably worth $850,000. That's what my realtor was telling me. They want $675,000, and I was like, well, you know, now there's tenants in there. What happened is that this oil guy owned it. He operated 4,000 square foot upstairs in his whole empire, mineral rights, all kinds of oil stuff, and then over time, the oil boom bust happened, and he just got behind on deferred maintenance. And basically, this oil guy tycoon, at one time was Mr. probably large, and I'm talking millions large, mineral rights, oil pumping, oil machine, making money, green coming to him, came to a halt. And I don't really think that this building was so big that he didn't really budget and maintain that. And then as tenants disappeared, at one time this was a thriving facility, he didn't hustle or update and just let the deferred maintenance. And it's interesting to see that unfold. There was only 3 tenants in there. One was him, on the owner, on the top floor. There was 2 people on the second floor, and on the bottom floor there was nobody. And at one time it was completely rented out. And it's, you know, you got 12,000 square foot with 3 tenants. It's kind of scary in a roundabout way. And so it needed a roof, it needed painting, it needed complete makeover, overgrown everywhere. So I was like, what, you know, how can I go with this? And so it's listed $675. What can we get this for? How can we cash flow? And this is out of my league, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I can't. Almost $1 million property. How can I orchestrate this deal with no money down? And I was like, there's got to be equity. I can tell. I met the owner when I was doing some of my inspections, and I could tell he was desperate, not in a negative way, like he's going to go under, but he was tired of paying a payment and just going in the red every month. So I was like, man. 675. Let's lock this deal up for 500. I'm being serious. I was like, I'm gonna lock this deal up at 500. And so I did some intense due diligence, and I offered 500. He got him right down to 600 real quick. And I was like, no. And then I found out about this, and I found out about that. And, you want to hear about all the crazy negotiations over time, but I locked the bad boy up at 535. And the reason why I came to 535 is because I found out through the grapevine, through some conversations with the seller, that someone next door offered 525 and he couldn't come to closing paying. And so we found out that he owed less on the building. Left over on the building was $535,000. And that's what I locked it up for. I could tell the guy was desperate. That's what he owed on it. And that's what I offered, $535. Boom. I get it locked up. Yeah, Van Kalberg. Yeah, woo, you got it on lock. Nope, didn't get it on lock. That was just the beginning. I could write a whole book on this mother. So I lock it up for $535. Now I'm getting smarter with bank financing. So let me add some financing in here. I call one bank and I was like, hey, I got this property worth $800,000. I'm going to close it at $535. It needs $90,000 worth of repairs. I'm willing to put in my own repairs. I just need to lock, for you to fund it. Absolutely, Mr. Van Kalberg. You have a great relationship with the bank. Bing, bang, we'll do it. Oh, that sounds great. But I don't lead or leave it all to one. I don't, first of all, in real estate, you can't just leave it to one person or one bank or one chance. You've got to do it all. So I called another bank all juiced up. Oh yeah, Mr. Van Kalberg. It's a $800,000. Oh, we know that property. We'll finance it. We'll give you the acquisition money. If you're willing to put in $100,000 on your own money, we'll do it. No money down deal. Bang, bang, boom. So they're like, okay, I could do this. I could do this. Now I got $2,000 from the guy up top. I got one of the tenants that's paying $500 on the second floor and $1,000 on the other floor. That comes out to $3,500. If I figure out the math, $535,000, 6%, 20-year AM. I only need to raise another $1,000. It's going to take me $4,500 to run this machine. I'm like, yeah, okay, I can do this. So I lock it up under the contract. Everything's going great. Banks seem to be all friendly in the beginning. Oh, we want your business, over almost $1 million deal. We'll work with you. We'll make this happen. And we'll come to find out it's really, for me, it's easy to do a no money down deal in residential. But I'm thinking, man, I got this reputation. I teach my students. I teach everybody you should not use your own money. You should buy the deal 70%. And you should do a no money down deal. I'm thinking it's no big deal in commercial. Well, then, no, Van Kalberg. That's not how it rolls. It's the standard in commercial. You have to put 20% down. I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't believe in the standard. I'm going against the standard. I'm going to do a no money down deal for real. There's so much equity here. This bad boy is worth $800,000. Yes, it's deferred maintenance. Yes, it needs work. Yes, it doesn't have the revenue, but that's okay because I'm going to figure it out. So I got one bank. They were like, yes, we want the business. We want your business, but you're going to have to refinance. We'll do the acquisition for you, and we'll do a no money down if we get you to refinance the commercial building that you're in. And I was like, okay, so that was bank funding number 2. But bank funding number 2 dragged their freaking feet and took me too long. And like I made it clear that my 535 offers I was going to close in 30 days so the guy wouldn't make another payment in December. I did close December 2nd, 2016, which is amazing. I couldn't believe I did it, but I had to stick with bank number 1. Now, bank number 1, small town bank, great service. They weren't too keen on no skin in the game, as they would say. I'm like, what do you mean? I said, why would you penalize me when the building's worth $800,000 and I'm only asking for $535,000, and I'm going to put in the skin of the game is the the remodel or the repairs that have been deferred for so long. Well, with a lot of gnawing and kicking, I'm like, look, guys, I got these assets. I'll collateralize stuff if necessary, but I need you to do the acquisition for the 535. If we can get that good, I'll, choke out on the remodel. So they're like, okay, depending on the appraisal. Okay, cool. Now, here we go with this appraisal BS. Now, I'm thinking, I got this off the chain. I got $750,000 appraisal in my hand 10 years ago. Oklahoma City is growing. Oklahoma City is not declining. I've seen hundreds of appraisals, probably 200 appraisals in my little career of, 17 years. I know the area. I'm a mile away. I'm 7 miles away from my crib. I know the deal. This bad boy is going to come in at 800. No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm cursing inside. Don't worry. The appraisal came back. Check this mother out. 535. 540 is what the appraisal came back in as is condition. Now, wait, what the? All fixed up, renovated 640. Now, let me tell you something. So, I've been working with some students and teaching them about appraisals and how it works and how you should go show up on the property. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I brought a whole team on the appraisal. Not only the appraisal cost me $2,800, I rolled over there, walked the building, rode this dude like a jockey, and friends dapping it up. How you doing? And the dude threw me under the bus for real. He just threw me over the bus and backed me up. Now there is a no money down deal. No. When the appraisal came back, it crushed me. Now I got this building under contract for $535. The appraisal came in at $540. The bank's like, we'll give you 80%. I said, this ain't going to work, man. I can't close this deal. I don't have the cash to close this and remodel it, and you're like, wow, Van Callenberg, you're so rolling. You have $100,000. No, fellas and ladies, I don't have $100,000 just sitting in the bank where I could just I had to refinance a couple other properties, pull out the equity in those properties, take that cash out of those properties. Let me say it one more time, out of some other properties to fix this up. And then my goal was to refinance it for $800,000, get my money back out, and it'll be a no money down deal at the end of the deal, at the end of the day. Now, on the acquisition side, I was just like, okay, I'll let it roll. Now, this bank number 2, they kind of just dissed me along the way. They took too long. Underwriting was dragging their feet. New underwriters. This is a bunch of B, S, 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 O, yeah, whatever. It sounds like an 80s song. So I had to let them go. So bank number 1, they were like, look, man, Mr. Van Callenberg, we appreciate your business. We know you've been outstanding with your accounts now. We want to write the loan, but we're only going to give you $435,000. I said, say it again. You said 435. You realize we spoke with that. This was a no money down deal. And I was clear. I'm serious, guys. I was serious when I said no money down deal. He's like, look, this is how we're going to do it. We thought the appraisal was going to be an $800,000. The appraisal came in at $640. We're willing to give you $435. And since we like you, you do the acquisition to close it, and we'll give you another $100,000 on the repairs as a draw as you do it. And I was like, okay. And the reason why I said okay is because I wanted to close the deal, and I had $5,000 worth of earnest money on the table. I mean, there was a contingency for financing, but still, and I wanted to grow my business, but still way out of my league into the commercial language. Make a long story short, I know this is 20 minutes of drama, but I closed it with the bank helping me for $435. I refinanced everything in the world to close the thing, and I'm in remodeling it right now. here's all the crazy things that I learned. Number one, remember I told you 2,000, 1,000, 475, or 500? Those numbers are way off. Those were numbers, I don't know where they came from. The $2,000 from the previous owner to rent the place is still sufficient. The $1,000 for the other tenant was confusion. That was to rent also the conference center included with the $1,000. The guy was paying $800. I was like, whoa, he's way under rented. We're not going to differ on that deal. And then the other person was paying $100 less on that. So my numbers that I based it on were way off in the first place. So that threw my whole game off. So then it's just like one thing after another. Let me tell you something, how big this building is. I've already spent $2,000 in LED light bulbs already. My numbers are way off. I'm choking out, but I'm grinding it out, trying to do hustles on the side. Like I just did the side hustle. I'm doing that stuff, saving money so I can pay for this building. Now, here I am. My goal here is just to break even. I want to move over to this office building, and I need to raise $4,500. I need to raise $1,000 to $1,200, and I'll break even on the building. But, man, let me tell you something. Dealing with 12,000 square foot, 86 parking spots. I didn't even think about snow. I'm going to have to pay another $400 or so just for them to scrape that mess off when it snows. Just the insurance alone, the roof alone, the electricity alone. Thank God it's a total electric building. Man, I'm learning a great deal about commercial, but that's how you do it. You dive in it. What's the worst thing that could happen? I bought it right. In my mind, I bought it right. I painted it. I'm moving forward. I know I can get my equity back out. It may not be as fast as I want to. You got to work with your banks. Within 2 weeks, I got the whole first floor finished, and I got 3 of the units rented out already. Within 2 weeks, the banker came up there that loaned me the money, and he just said, wow, this is awesome. And so, I built a relationship with them, but I'm still grinding it out. It wasn't easy. What are the things that I learned about this deal? First of all, whatever you do, using a stop-owe letter. What's that? Yeah, I don't know what it is. Sounds a gangster. Well, stop-owe letter is find out exactly what people are paying rent. When I thought this one tenant was paying $1,000, we've verified that with a listing realtor. Remember, the listing realtor was a residential realtor. But I found out, talking to some of my mentors, I was like, yo, this is scandalous, this commercial stuff. The things that people are telling me are not true. He's like, bro, what's wrong with you? Commercial, it's like the Wild West. It's legal. They can tell you whatever they can say to you, tell you whatever they want to tell you. It's your job to do your own due diligence. Wow. So here's the thing. I just try to get in this deal to break even. Now, when I run the numbers, and it could be a cash flow monster or it can be an alligator, but you're going to have to find out from here on in. So best deal for me, end of the year, closing it out, commercial building. If you need some office space, if you want to kick it with other real estate investors at a reasonable price, you need an address, you want an easy place to get to, then come rent this place with me, come hang out with me. I'll be down to do it. But other than that, what I've learned of this deal. I'm glad I did it. I've learned so much. It's been a nightmare. If you read my book, The Savvy Landlord, The 14-Eyed Monster, where I jumped into an apartment building, rehabbed 14 units, and almost gave up about 4 times. Now that building's worth almost 4 times what I have in it, today. And I'm able to pull out that equity from there. My wife told me, she's like, yo, this office building, we called it the Red Tree Center. You could check it out, redtreecenter.com. She's like, it's going to be like that. It's just going to take a long time to get there. And I think anything worth fighting for or waiting for is worth it. And so if you're on the fence, wherever you're at, even on your first deal, just do it. Even if you're on a super, super fence, call someone else and split it with them, but pull the trigger. You can't go wrong. Ultimately, whatever you do is buy assets. And whatever you do, when you buy an asset, buy it right. Have enough equity in the deal. When you make mistakes like I do, it will buoy and make itself back up. Anyway, hopefully this wasn't my show about me. Hopefully this was a show about you. Say you can do it. Van Kallenberg can buy an office building with no skills. I mean, I have some, but I have no idea. I can tell you this. Here's another thing I learned. You got to have deep pockets for commercial. You got to work, hustle hard, and everything on commercial is double. The freaking locks on the outside of the building. This is how ghetto I am. I'm like, I got to change this lock out. This commercial, like, you know, when you go to 7-Eleven, you got the metal door. It's commercial. So I'm like, dude, this is ghetto. I got to put a digital lock on here so the tenants can come in and out. So I'm like, I'm on Amazon. I'm trying to figure out what in the world lock it is. So I go to a locksmith. I'm like, hey, I got this thing, this commercial door. Here's a picture. I show him a picture. Oh, he's like, I know what it is. He gets in his computer. He's like, $550 for the lock. I was like, what the $550 for real? He's like, yeah, you need this blank, blank, blank. I was like, yeah, all right, buddy. And I go, well, sir, how much does it cost to install a lock like that? He's like, $250. I'm like, what the $800? I got 2 of those doors. That's 6. My numbers are way off. So I think I'm savvy, savvy landlord. So I get on Amazon. I spend probably 3 hours figuring out what lock it is. I buy the lock. I'm thinking I'm getting a deal, $350. I'm like, oh, I'm saving $200. Man, how hard is it to put in a lock? Man, I can do this. I buy a lock for $350. We start tearing the lock off, trying to put this lock in. Boom. These locks come without all the parts. We thought something was wrong with the lock. No. We call the manufacturer. Commercial locks don't come bare bones because every lock is a different size, different thickness. I mean, it's just crazy, the variables in locks. You have to order blank, blank, blank parts. Guess what that came out to? Another $200. I'm about $100 something. Wow, we're at 4 something. Then I try to get my ghetto locksmith to come over there. It's out of his league. And I'm out of town right now, so I don't even know what it costs to put those locks in. All that research, hours and time and delays, and I'm probably going to spend the same amount of money, maybe $700, maybe $750. That's exactly what I am dealing with this property. Everything is double. Everything costs more money. Definitely need to do commercial. I'm not saying this to get you out of this. I'm saying this, be prepared, and you should do it regardless. Whatever you do, enjoy life, make it worthwhile, go buy assets and give back, mentor somebody, bless somebody, tithe more, do more, and you can with assets.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at SavvyRadioShow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.